Well, Jim, another question here on the drive-thru, and several people have followed up with us about this. You and I had a discussion, I forget what the genesis of it was, about the fact that shoot interviews have now gone beyond wrestling, and that there are mafia members, former members of La Cosa Nostra, who are now breaking omerta on camera. I sent you various links to check out. Were you able to watch any of these?
Yes, I watched a couple, and I'm going to get to some more of them because they're like potato chips. But it is, honestly, besides the fact there's a little bit better production value, it does look like wrestling shoot interviews. Michael Franzese, how do you say that? It's Italian. You ought to be.
I ought to be. I'm Jewish. Michael Franzese.
Well, yeah, but you're from New Jersey, so.
Well, I'm from Long Island.
Yeah, well,
which is actually where he's from, I think.
Well, there you go. You're up there amongst them. Anyway, what you said, Michael Franzese, yeah. I have heard about one of the clips was him telling about the gas tax scam that they did. He was making $10 million a week generating that. What they did was they bought, with their other illicit gains, they bought a bunch of service stations, right? A bunch of gas stations. And they started buying a ton of gas and selling a ton of gas. But they would set up these companies and they wouldn't pay the tax. Tax at the time was like 30 cents or 40 cents a gallon of gas. And they were selling tens of millions of gallons over all these stations. And they wouldn't pay the government the tax. When the government caught on to them, they hadn't got tax paid, they would close the company down, take the money out, and open another company with other service stations. They got away with this for quite some time, apparently. And I'd heard about this on another documentary, and this was him doing a sit-down shoot interview explaining it to the guy, and also rebuking or rebutting another mobster that had called him a squealer and a rat and a snitch and all his. What was that guy's name? Oki Shakina?
Ori Spotto
or Oki Shakina, one or the other. Who looks like your average old. He looked like Fat Tony Salerno on that famous Time magazine cover. Just jowl-faced, fucking mush-mouthed old, gangster guy. And he said, yeah, he's a rat. He's got $50 million in the savings account in Panama. I know who put it there. His initials are such and such. And Franzese is the son of the more famous mobster member of the family or whatever. But he almost reminded me of like a mob version of Anthony Scaramucci. He's really smooth and he's well-spoken and he'll hit you and he's got the beautiful teeth and everything. But he was like, oh, this guy's he's a fucking nobody. Nobody ever heard of him. They use my father's name and my name all the time. Is this a whole subset world of now mob shoot interviews where now they just don't give a shit about exposing their own business and they just call each other rats?
Yeah, you got to watch the other ones I sent you too because it gets even better. I did like with the Michael Franzese one where he's countering the remarks of Ori Spotto where he says, I had a friend who worked as a film agent, and he said, this guy's in my office threatening all sorts of things. And I said to him, look, the next time he's there, pick up a chair and hit him over the head with it.
And then kick him out, because he's nobody.
Because he's a nobody.
He's a cockroach. He's a cockroach. He's nobody. He's scum on your shoe.
Do you think they have a Jim Cornette that's like, the business was so much better before everyone was breaking omerta?
Back then when we swore the code, it meant something. We did the blood sacrifice and the oath. We took the blood oath with the axe like Joe LeDuc, and it meant something. I wish that Dennis Coralluzzo had lived to the days of shoot interviews, because that would have been classic.
He did one.
I've seen it many, many years ago. He did one, but I mean, as they became more populous and plentiful and the production was upgraded and everything, he would have been hilarious. And he would have been hilarious on the mob shoot interviews, because I guarantee you, Dennis didn't have anything necessarily to do with the mob, but he could have done a promo and made people believe it. As a matter of fact, that's what he did with the halfway with the introduction interviews he did for Chris Candido in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It was like some fucking shady guy in New Jersey wearing sunglasses and an overcoat, getting handed packages on the steps of the courthouse. He was talking about Candido. I think he could have done either one of them, the wrestling interviews or the mob interviews. But yeah, these things are great.
In Memphis, he was an angry attorney who didn't like Jerry Lawler. They made him an attorney. I love that.
They didn't need to go all the way to New Jersey to find an angry attorney that didn't like Jerry Lawler.
So do you think you're going to watch any more of these videos?
Yes, I am. I'm intrigued now. I want to see what else they've got to say about, because that's like, who was it? Sammy the Bull Gravano. He turns government witness, government agent, spills the beans on everybody, has plastic surgery on his face to look different, goes into the federal witness protection program, and then starts doing interviews. Is he the one I'm thinking about?
Yes, and actually one of the videos I sent you is a recent sit-down interview with Sammy.
Oh, good Lord. And I've got to get into that, because what sense did that make? Did they all was it like the wrestling business where 20 years ago everybody just said, okay, everybody knows, we give it all up, we just say whatever we want, we'll admit to any crime? He gets plastic surgery to hide from the people that he ratted on, and then goes on television every chance he gets. And nobody does anything about it?
I guess not. He got busted. He got arrested, too, for what was it, selling meth or something?
Well, I guess the mob is like the wrestling business. They don't even have any enforcers anymore that go out and take care of rats and people who spill the beans. It's very disheartening. Not only know that you can't count on wrestlers to protect their business anymore, now you can't even count on the mob? Boy, I tell you, who can you count on? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one person you can count on. I'll tell you one person that won't sacrifice their principles. I'll tell you one person that when you go to them and you say, I've got a problem, I need help, I need somebody on my side, I need somebody to fight a big corporation, I need somebody to take care of me in my time of trial and need, I know who you can call.
Call Stephen P. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. Those are the rest.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have gone to all the trouble of having plastic surgery to change the appearance of your face in order to avoid retribution from people that you have ratted on, don't call Stephen P. New, because he works for the other side of the fence. If you're a baby face, if you're on the side of good and right and truth, if you're a humble and lovable servant of the public, if you're a good person who uses their left and right turn indicator and you have been harmed or damaged or infringed upon or had your rights violated or taken away, then you can call Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084. Folks, right now, there's some deadlines to get in on some of these big cases. The New Law Office is doing opioid litigation. All the big major drug companies that have overprescribed medicines and not warned people about the side effects, and people were addicted to opioids. Stephen P. New is taking up for you. And these cases are going to be filed by March 2021. If you're a military service member and the 3M defective military earplugs caused you hearing damage or other kinds of problems, those cases are going to be filed in the summer. If you took Zantac, and I'm one of these folks, and thank goodness nothing's happened yet, but if you got cancer due to overuse of Zantac or any use of Zantac because it had cancer-causing ingredients, those cases are going to be filed by summer 2021. Personal injury, wrongful death, all other types of cases, he reviews them. If he can help you, he will. And if not, you're probably helpless. Folks, newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084, and our good friend Stephen, the consigliere of the cult of Cornette, see, there's a mob reference there, may be announcing some wrestling-related litigation, not even involving dear old Jim here, in the coming months ahead. NewLawOffice.com, 888-692-8084.
That's right. It took a while to get there, but let's get.
I want to, in case they were writing it down.
Let's get.
Remember when the wrestling announcers. What are you laughing at? People writing stuff down. Remember when the wrestling announcers used to say, "Folks, during this match, get your pen and paper ready, because we're going to be giving you the address you can write to for a picture of your favorite wrestler, to send a get well card to the guy that's hurt or whatever." And then they'd announce, and folks, our main event today is going to be for the sick and shut-in folks who can't go to the matches live. We're going to have a title match on TV today. They'd say all those things. Now they just scream at you and you tune them out.